I want to talk about productivity and industriousness and technology. So, over time, over the last 250, 300 years, a lot of human technologies have been created and sold to humanity under the sales pitch that these things will make our lives easier and better. It really kicked off in the 1950s, which is less than 100 years ago. But there were a lot of products. I mean, the automobile was starting to be developed well before that. That was, Henry Ford and stuff. But also, people were trying it earlier. People were trying electric trams earlier than that. Um, a lot of technologies have been um, generated again with the sales pitch of trying to make your life easier. Um, and when I look around, I see over and over again that um, all of these appliances that we've got to make our lives better don't actually do that. They're very expensive, and uh, once you buy them, they save some time, but they also consume energy that you've got to replace with your money. Um, I often wonder what's worth the trade-off. Which technologies are worth it, and I'm sure that's different for every person. Um, but I think that a lot of us uh, have accepted the technology in our lives without thinking about uh, other consequences of having that technology in our lives. Um, I was just reading an article about um, the Energy Star system going away in the United States. It was a, a certification that companies could get to say that their appliances use less energy. And um, I'm thinking specifically about the clothes dryer machine. Now, uh, it's a feature of American households that there is a clothes dryer. Um, if you're over in Europe, you might think that kind of funny, but we have this little box in our living space that uh, takes electricity and or gas to uh, blast hot air across our clothes as it tumbles. Um, Many of you in Europe will be familiar with a laundry pulley, which is a great system. I'd never encountered it until I was 18 years old. I spent some time in Scotland. I was like, what is this? And it's the dryer. I had no idea. It was brand new to me. Didn't know what it was. It was eye opening for me. Um, but it's for the Americans in the audience. Um, it's a set of slats that get pulled up into the upper part of a warm space indoors. You can hang all your laundry on it. It air dries pretty quickly, actually. If your house is warm, it air dries pretty quickly. If you can locate it over um, uh, a heater vent or uh, a wood burning stove, or I think a lot of places in Europe they put it in the kitchen because the kitchen's the warmest room in the house. Might end up smelling a little bit like food, but I mean, where's the harm in that, really? Um, but this is basically a free way to dry your clothes, right? Once you buy this pulley system, which is about, uh, it's not that much money in hardware, and then you got to fashion the wood slats for it. That's pretty easy project for a day. You screw these two pulleys up into your ceiling and on structural members, and you've got this pulley that can um, dry your clothes for free after that. Um, it's low tech. It's brilliant. Um, it's one of my favorite examples of something that is simple and almost free, that could completely replace an expensive appliance and costs energy in our households. Um, Whereas I was going with technology. That's right. So I don't like Klaus Schwab. Um, I don't like Agenda 21. I don't like Agenda 2030. Uh, I don't like what globalists are trying to shove down humanity's throats. And at the same time, I think that it is prudent, conservative, forward thinking to look hard at the technologies that we allow to be in our houses and devote time and energy to and burn fossil fuels for, the energy for. Um, you know, we need to do better about our uh, consumer behavior, and we can dream big and live simply rather than living complicated and losing our minds. I think a lot of the technologies that are out there are not really there to help you. I mean, unless you are a clothes dryer salesman, an appliance salesman, these appliances are not really there for you. They're there for the people who manufacture them, and most specifically, they're there for the people who rent seek off the employees who manufacture them, right? Um, we need to get rid of the myth of the magical job creator in our society. Um, we also need to get rid of the myth of the uh, evil capitalist business owner, because those are both tropes that uh, are overused. Um, the baker in your town is not an evil capitalist for having employees and uh, paying the employees less than the owner makes. Because what the owner makes, they're going to pour back into that business so that it can thrive and succeed and continue to have jobs for the employees. And now that is an example of job creation and interdependence with the employees, and I think it's largely holistic. The baker is taking on risk, debt to open up that bakery, and yes, they need help, but that doesn't mean that the help that they get is entitled to all of the spoils or an equal share of the spoils of the person that put out all the risk. Um, Cooperative ventures are different, partnerships are different. But if you've got a lone guy that starts a bakery and scales up to the point that that guy can have employees and can step back and tend the business or open another bakery, um, that person is not your enemy, nor is that person uh, Superman, right? Anyway, starting on technologies and Ludditism. Let's see here. Um, Long pause. We need to look at our lifestyles and figure out how to make our lives better using fewer resources so that the quality of our life can improve. This does not mean we need to go back to foraging for roots. I think that there's a middle ground there somewhere, and we've gotten too rapacious, too hungry for things and needs. See Dr. Seuss. Um, but don't go all Klaus Schwab. I'm not Klaus Schwab. I'm not trying to make you own nothing and pretend to be happy. That's not it. Consider your purchasing decisions and make decisions that simplify your life and use less of your energy. That's what I'm suggesting.